Welcome back to Ready, Set, Sold. Thanks so much for returning. Just a recap of where I left off the last time. I talked about as-is homes, and if you're not familiar with as-is homes, maybe you've heard the term. What it means is that the seller is going to sell it with nothing done, no updating, no nothing. And that could be a very smart choice depending on the situation. As I mentioned, it could be a parent, it could be a loved one that the kids are coming in and they're going to go ahead and just say, let's just get it on the market. Well, part of the problem is, and this is what's so great about having Dave and Deb here from New American Funding, is, but how do you get your money out? Maybe you have buyers. Many times buyers want to do the work. They see the value of it. They see the cost of it, but they can't get over the situation of where they're going to find the money. They've got enough money to get the FHA loan or whatever they're doing, but they don't have that funds. And Deb, you guys have a solution, right?
We do. We have a loan called the 203K, which we do run into the as-is property quite a bit if it's a bank-owned property or anything like that. They are not able to do the updates that buyers want. So the 203K loan's amazing, and if a buyer just likes the bones of the house, the structure, the location, all the important things, but wants the renovations of the new flooring, the updated kitchen, the updated bath, we can finance those improvements into the loan. And they buy the home, close, same day, whatever the contract date is. Then they get a contractor in. They have 3 to 6 months to get the work done. So it's a great loan. I did that loan personally, and I just couldn't be happier. It's really neat to be able to get into a home and have all that done and finance it into your payment.
And one of the things that I love that you said there, and Dave, maybe you can point that too, is that 3 to 6 months. So it's not like you have to rush in there and that you have to do it. I mean, right. You can, but you have some flexibility, you have some time, so you can make some decisions and what the buyer really wants out of their house.
Right.
So,
yeah, and the fantastic thing about the program is that there's different versions of it. So whether you're just doing cosmetic and updates like we've been talking about, or you're actually doing something structural with a foundation, or you're moving a wall or something, you can do those improvements as well. So yeah, just depending on the scope of the updates or improvements is going to kind of determine the time frame, but you do have up to 6 months to complete the work.
Sure. And I would imagine on those situations too, and let me backtrack just a little bit, and that is, there's not many lenders to do this. In fact, we had a situation not too long ago where we would have loved to had that situation in front of us. What happened is they were doing a foreclosure, okay, and they wanted a 203K type of loan. Well, the lender didn't, just kind of blew it off and said, well, we'll give them what we got. Well, guess what? FHA, or I don't know if it was the veterans or whoever had the loan, came back and said, no, we're not taking the deal.
Right.
I mean, it took like 2 months later, and there was a cost involved. They eventually got it, but the cost and the aggravation was just unbelievable.
Right.
And so putting the wrong product, and I think that's really important to understand, is making sure that you have the right product for what you're wanting to do.
Right. No, you have to set the right expectations with the borrower on those 203Ks, for sure. And, I've worked with several lenders who did them, but they didn't do them well. And New American is very big on, schooling the loan officer and making sure that, what documentation is going to be required of the contractors, of the borrower, things like that. So I think we're on it better than the average, lender in the area, for sure.
And go ahead.
But it is. I mean, it is setting the right expectation. I mean, you got to be ready. It's not moving ready on the day of closing.
Sure. And like I said, that could be a win-win for everybody. It could be a win for the seller, it could be a win for the buyer, win for everybody. There's nothing wrong with that. And one thing I love what I heard you say is basically you're informational based. Okay, you don't create the money, you don't create the situation, but you listen to what people's needs are and you put the right product with the right person.
Yeah, and just to clarify too, excuse me, so we're not throwing around just lingo, the 203K is actually an FHA version of the renovation loan. We also offer a conventional version depending on the qualifications of the borrower, which is a home style renovation. So part of our job is just to educate the buyer and kind of explain the differences and their options, and then obviously let them choose the best option. So we really try to take the extra step and make sure they're educated on it, because there are a few more steps involved.
Well, no, that's good though, but you can get there.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. It's another option. It's another feather in a buyer's hat or even a realtor's hat for that matter, to be able to help somebody, and you as a lender, it's an advantage that you have that, quite frankly, again, we had that situation I told you about, and we were literally calling lender after lender, and they almost kind of laughed at us. And they said, well, no, we don't do that. I mean, that's crazy. Why would you want to do that? And basically, unfortunately, there were lenders that just simply didn't know what they were talking about.
Right.
So it does happen that way. Having said that, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about another big topic, and that is the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification letter when you're working with a lender and also you as a seller. It is so huge. You're going to be shocked when you hear out this information. So make sure you pay attention and come back. You're listening to Ready, Set, Sold. Your host, Bryan Vogt.